The Monday, July 28th, 2014 meeting of the Anderson Township Zoning Commission to order. Allison, could you call the roll?
Mr. Goddard?
Here.
Mr. Kennard?
Here.
Ms. McBride?
Here. We have first on our agenda, approval of the agenda.
I'll move to approve the agenda. I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Second on the agenda is the approval of the minutes. And Paul, help me with this a little bit. Is there any of those that we can approve?
No, we cannot do minutes tonight.
Okay.
So I'm not the only reason?
No.
It's like, wow, is that the last time?
Okay. One of these, there's a question mark whether we can ever approve them, I
Yes,
think,
so we'll
but
have to
okay.
postpone those.
Okay, all right. Third on the agenda then is case number 1-2014 PUD, filed by John Bernay and Brian Arlinghouse on behalf of Kabani Missionaries. Property owner, the property is located at 8060 Beachmont Avenue, Zone E Retail, Anderson Township. There is a lengthy series of instructions here, and I'm going to try to summarize those. Because this is a final development plan and it's a major modification, it is subject to hearing and deciding by the board on this matter. Any decision of this commission is subject to the appeal of the Board of Township Trustees and then to the Court of Common Pleas. As a result, we have to employ different procedures than we would from some of our other meetings. That makes this meeting a quasi-judicial procedure. The commission will only receive evidence as to whether the applicant meets or does not meet the standards and criteria in the zoning resolution. The commission cannot consider opinions, just facts. The staff will present a summary of the application. The applicant will then present its case. The board members may ask questions about the staff and of the applicant. Witnesses will be sworn in. After the applicant presents its case through its witnesses and anyone else that cares to offer evidence to the commission, then we will open it to the public for any comments that they may have. So, you got the...
We need to swear in.
Yeah, do you have that? Well, I'm just going to ask anybody who is planning on addressing the commission this evening and offering any testimony, if you could stand and raise your right hand. And you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. So with that, Paul, then we'll turn it over to you for the staff report, please.
Okay, great. The applicants are John Bernier, depending on where you are, and Brian Arlinghouse on behalf of Kabani Missionaries, who's the property owner. The location is at 8060 Beachmont Avenue, and the request is for a PUD, which is a planned unit development application to allow covered outdoor seating area and covered entrance to the Anderson Pub and Grill, which is currently undergoing renovations. The site in question is on the corner of Beachmont and Nagel, and this is the township zoning map, but this is Beachmont Avenue here, and this is Nagel, and this is the site in question. In June, a zoning certificate was issued for interior renovations and an outdoor dining area that was all within existing impervious surface area. So the township did issue permits for the renovations that you see going on right now. And then most recently, the applicants are requesting approval of an addition, which then triggered the PUD review process. So that is why you see renovations ongoing, but now you're seeing they did it in two phases just to start the renovations. All the surrounding zoning is E or EPUD, which is all signified in red, which is retail. Across the street is the Tide Dry Cleaners on the north side of Beachmont and Nagel. To the south, you have St. Timothy's, you have a law firm, and then you have two car dealerships. You have a little strip center to the east, and then you have office buildings to the north, and this blue also signifies office uses. The site in question is about 0.8 acres, and there's frontage, 214 feet of frontage on Beachmont and 143 frontage on Nagel. And the prior use was a sports bar as well. You can see the aerial. This is from 2011, so Tide was actually under construction at the time, but you can see the surrounding uses. This is the site plan of the proposal. There are a few modifications. and to get you oriented, this is Beachmont Avenue, this is Nagel here. So this is the front porch addition, which is 137 square feet, a covered porch addition over the main entrance. This is a covering over the patio, and it does not include the entire patio, just a portion of the patio, and the covered portion would be 845 square feet. So as part of the overall renovations of the site, if you'll recall from the aerial, there used to be parking up against the building, over here on the west side of the building, and with the patio, they are eliminating those parking spaces, however, replacing those with parking along the north side of the building. Oh, sorry, went the wrong direction. And it's hard to tell from the previous photo, but there were some parallel spaces, and there's a dumpster access on the rear of the property. So that is being replaced with parking. There was an exterior, kind of like a smoking hut over on the side of the building. That's also being replaced with parking, being eliminated, replaced with parking, as you can see in this drawing here. As far as findings, again, we said this is going to the Zoning Commission for PUD approval because the impervious surface is over 90%. Anything over 60% triggers the PUD request. When we are reviewing a PUD plan, we look at the township's adopted plans as well as zoning resolution compliance. So, and actually, let's go ahead. These are the elevation drawings of the proposal. So, and you'll see from the on-site photos that it's undergoing a complete renovation, interior and exterior. All of the exterior siding has been taken off and will be replaced. And these are the elevation drawings of the proposed improvements. So, as far as zoning, and this is the landscape plan. The landscaping on Nagel and on Beachmont was installed by the township. This was part of the Beachmont streetscape improvements when the corner, the low landscape walls and the corner pavers, landscaping was also installed. And so this plan includes landscaping around the front of the building and then around the outdoor patio area. These are some of the exterior photos from, and doing a clockwise view. This is the area of the patio, which is undergoing construction currently, and this will be the area where the outdoor cover would be. Again, the main entrance roof will be extended. Again, this is the side where the outdoor patio will be. And this is looking from Nagel, looking generally east, the office buildings to the north of the site, and this is the proposed parking on the north side of the building. So, in looking at the zoning resolution compliance, the building is compliant as far as the height and the setbacks. The parking lot is not compliant. It was, there's some non-conforming aspects of the parking. So what we tried to do is identify areas that were not compliant. And with the township's parking requirements, there are 3 thresholds of when you need to, you're allowed to use the existing parking. There's a second criteria where certain aspects of the parking requirements should be brought up to speed. And then with current redevelop, or with complete redevelopment, all standards should be applied. We're somewhere in between the not needing to do anything and complete compliance. So what we tried to identify are areas that are not compliant. The front yard setback of the parking, which is 10 feet from the right-of-way, is what the requirement is. They are at 5 feet, and again, this was a standard at the time when the restaurant was built. The drive-out widths and parking stall dimensions are slightly smaller than current requirements. Current requirements are 9 by 19 parking stalls and 24-foot wide drive aisles, and some of the parking stalls and parking drive aisles are just shy of that. Interior landscaping requirements, sidewalks along street frontages, and bike racks. So those are the areas that are not compliant. As far as sidewalks go, there is a sidewalk that comes to the northern property line and terminates. The township installed that some time ago, and it was decided at the time to terminate at this property line because of the topography and the setback of the parking lot and the drop-off from the road from Nagel down to their parking. It just wasn't feasible at the time to construct a sidewalk along this property. So it was felt that at least pedestrians could get to this property and then walk through the parking lot to get to the intersection. And there is a break in the wall that allows pedestrians to get through the parking lot to the intersection. There are sidewalks on the other side, constructed sidewalks during that redevelopment. There are sidewalks on the southern side of Beachmont Avenue along the auto dealerships. There is a break between St. Timothy and the law firm, but then it picks up again on the other side of New England Club Drive. So this whole area of Beachmont Avenue is an area that sidewalks are planned for the future, if either through redevelopment or some of the Beachmont streetscape or the safety improvements that ODOT will be implementing next year. So that is an area that staff feels pretty strongly that sidewalks should be included along at least the Beachmont street frontage. The other things that, as far as a bike rack, we felt like that was fairly easy to implement, as long as also a connection between the intersection. Let me get my mouse working. A striped, wherever that is, pedestrian way to their front door. So, the other requirements, landscaping, again, the township installed that. The township does need to replace some of the landscaping that has died, so we do need to do that. Other aspects, without complete redevelopment, there's not a way to get the parking into full compliance. So the drive aisle widths, you're pretty much stuck with what you have, and again, it's been used that way. The other plans that we look at are the comprehensive plan, and we've identified the areas where this is consistent with the comprehensive plan through the economic development goals, land use and development goals. We've touched on the Anderson Trails plan. The design guidelines, again, the proposed elevation drawings are consistent with the architectural design guidelines. And then the others, the site planning and outdoor spaces, you are adding an outdoor space which is consistent with the design guidelines. It's encouraged to have outdoor patios and outdoor seating areas. This building already was oriented toward Beachmont Avenue, and it has a front facade, and it's welcoming for both pedestrians and for the automobile. And the facade, again, is consistent with the design guidelines. Got ahead of myself. So staff's recommendation was approval based on the following, on the following 9 elements you see there on the slide, in addition to some of the recommendations regarding the parking area. Staff recommends that those be implemented. So I'll be happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Gentlemen, any questions for?
None at this time.
I don't either.
Well, I just had just a couple of questions. So in terms of the number of spaces, though, they meet the required number for the restaurant as it's proposed?
They do meet the requirements.
Okay.
With the elimination and then the addition, and even with the outdoor seating area, actually
That's my
seating
next question.
capacity was reduced slightly in order to meet the ratios. So,
Okay.
yes.
And then you said some of the spaces in the drive aisles were below what we require today.
Mhm.
Were they, what, 9 by, or 8 by 19, or what?
Most of them are like 9 by 18, I believe, and then the drive aisle where the patio was is slightly smaller than what is required. And again, this is all in existing condition. The patio is not going out any further than what was previous parking. So it's measuring about 22 feet, 21 feet, 22 feet versus 24 feet.
Okay.
Same way with the other drive aisles, it was closer to 22, 23 versus 24.
I think small if I back out. And then with regards to the sidewalk on Nagel, when I went out there, I mean, like that catch basin that's there almost at the corner, I mean, there really isn't any way to get a sidewalk. I mean, it would have been nice, but I don't see any way to get a sidewalk.
The township went through the same
Nagel.
issue
Yeah.
when we built the other one on Nagel, just
Yeah.
north of the site.
Okay. Okay, that's, I think, all I have. Gentlemen, would you like to make a presentation, or?
You guys have any other questions? I mean, I don't know. I'm not sure how this process works. I mean, do we-
You're right, you can come up to the podium and just state your name and your address, and then if you have anything to add, from the staff report that you agree with or disagree with, or the zoning commission may have questions for you.
I'm not sure I do.
Okay?
My name is Brian Arlinghouse. My home address is 253 Bluegrass Avenue, Southgate, Kentucky. And I think I with all of the findings, I think we agree with all of the findings that Paul has come up with here. Just, so you know, we are, trying to take this building which was turning into a little bit of an eyesore and bring it up and make it look nice for the corner there. And that's pretty much still our goal with the front porch and the covered patio area. Not sure. I did look at that front area with where the sidewalk was, where he talked about the proposed. I think it is close to Beachmont Avenue. I'm not sure how close it's allowed to be to the road, or how close you'd want it to the road. I'm not sure where it would go. I think it would probably have to go where those bushes are right now. Is that what you kind of thought, Paul?
Well, the ODOT will allow for the sidewalk in the right-of-way, so I think you could straddle the right-of-way line. And what we measured was 5 feet from the parking lot to the right-of-way and potentially another 5 feet from the right-of-way to the edge of pavement of the street. And we felt, yes, most likely it would have to go on in the right-of-way, or, maybe a foot into the landscaping, but of course, the landscaping could stay. We felt like there was, would stay, yes. We felt like there was enough room between the roadway and the landscaping to install a sidewalk.
Okay. I know there's a few poles, a few utility poles, and that kind of thing.
I don't think I have a good shot from the road. I don't have a good shot from the road.
Anything else?
I guess that's about it. Just so you know, we put a lot of money into the building already to add the sidewalk. It's not that I don't want to do it. I don't want to make this look nice. I do know that it would tax us quite a bit right now to put that in right now, with adding the front porch and the covered patio, and then the other outdoor renovations. But anyway, if you have any other questions, let us.
Yeah, for the outdoor patio, is it this intended for dining, no live entertainment or anything like that?
Right now, we don't, live entertainment wouldn't be on a regular basis. Whether or not we do that or not, we have a restaurant in Oakley, and right now what we do is just on Sundays, we have a little acoustic guy out there. But other than big bands and things, we don't do that out there. That was not our intent here.
Any other sort of music or PA system out there?
Oh, yeah, we were planning on putting TVs on that, underneath the awning. I did not put that on this plan, even, maybe I should have. So yeah, we were planning on doing that, plus probably some music, not real loud, of course, but just kind of like background music. Anything. Usually what we do is the inside levels of volume can be different than the outside ones, so that's pretty much what we do in Oakley.
That's the only questions I have right now for me.
I don't have any questions.
Okay.
But I have a couple of questions. I always have questions.
That's fine.
As everyone will tell you. So you've got the new spaces that you're adding there on the north side of the building, and you've got them backing out into that, off of your property. So I'm assuming, is there a cross-parking access agreement there
Where at?
He's up here.
with the property there to the north?
No, that's still on the actual property.
I understand, but to get to those spaces, to back in and out, you're on somebody else's property. So is there a cross-parking, cross-access easement? There almost must be.
I guess the landlord of this property is the same landlord for the property behind it, and he approved it.
Okay. Paul, is that something we would typically get? I mean, some places make you provide the cross-access easements.
Yeah, I think
agreements.
They're already using that to access the restaurant itself.
Yeah, right.
And I don't, we may have one on file, actually, but I can't guarantee, I
Okay.
don't know that for sure.
And then you're showing some landscaping. What kind of landscaping are you thinking about around the building?
Well, Fred here's my landscape guy, but he, I think the plan was to do, was it arborvitae's?
Yes.
Around the patio.
We consult with Natorx, we work with Natorx on our Oakwood project, and we'll get with Ron Wilson and those people. They recommended that we use arborvitae's, and there's a low-growing, very colorful, it's called golden mops. Those are particularly nice because they do not attract bugs.
Okay, all
And
sounds
they're
good.
very hard for this area. So
Right.
that was something that we wanted to look at.
And the building materials that you're thinking about, is that going to be, what, hardy plank, or what do you?
Yeah,
you've
the
got some
siding is going to
stone?
be the hardy plank, and then the stone is the faux stone.
Yeah, right,
And then
okay.
up top there in the gables will be those shakes or.
And then I didn't see a rear elevation, a north elevation? Is there, are you proposing to do anything?
I'm not proposing to change the rear elevation right now.
It'll
Right now,
stay
it's
as
just
vinyl or
siding.
whatever that
It's
is.
just vinyl siding.
Okay.
That was, it'll happen, because whatever reason they put vinyl siding up there, I'm sure they were covering up something under there. Like everything we found in this building has been covered up.
Back from the
It's just
Brown
something I
days?
wasn't able to tackle just right now.
Okay. And then, do you have any concerns about the dumpster access? Because if folks are parked there along the north elevation, you're not going to be able to access that dumpster.
Right. Most of the dumpster pickups happen really in the middle of the night is what happens. So there shouldn't be any cars there
Okay.
left overnight. So those areas should be clear.
And then, are you proposing to reuse the freestanding sign that's on the property, the pole sign?
Well, that was a question I talked to Paul about, because he said if you change anything besides the face, they pretty much has to come into compliance. So that was a question, is what to do with the sign. I had brought that up in this because I didn't realize that at the time. So there's talk about what to do with the sign.
Would you like to know what I'd like you to do with the sign?
Okay, well, go ahead.
Let me tell you.
Make it look like the Tide sign.
Yes, I would really love to see that come down as a ground-mounted sign. Paul will
Okay.
tell you that that's kind of one of
And
my personal...
that's something I talked to my partners about before this meeting is, and I'm not, for me, that would be a lot easier to do right now than sidewalks, is to lower that sign. The sidewalk thing is, I think it's a big project, just because there's, I don't know, there's posts in the way, there's excavation. It's just, I'm not saying I won't do it if we have to, but lowering the sign, if that was an option, would probably be a better, for us, I would rather do that.
So you'd be agreeable to doing a sign, something like the
Yes.
the Tide sign, maybe using the stone that you're using on the
Right.
building and
Right.
and so forth? Because I think that would really make
Yeah.
a big impression, for your potential customers in the
Right.
township in general, really
Yep.
set it off.
Right. I did have one more suggestion, is on the front of the patio, there's a square there where there's a tree. I don't know if you can, if Paul, you can point
And
right
the
there.
pictures?
Go ahead, on that same plan you had up.
On this one.
There's a tree in that one island.
Yeah,
Right
come
here?
forward there, yeah.
Yeah.
What I was thinking is, if we want to do a painted sidewalk or crosswalk from that corner over to the patio, what I thought I'd do is basically to the north of that existing tree landscape berm. It's kind of hard to, I didn't bring a printout, but,
Maybe the on-site photos might work.
yeah, right, there you go. Right on the north side of that tree, what I think would be better is to put like a little ramp up to the sidewalk there from the parking lot, and then take that crosswalk from the corner to that little ramp. I think that would work out better. And I would be able to change the width of the landscape berm around the patio, and I could make that to where it would still be less, I could increase that landscape berm to cover that change. I think for the people coming from that corner, it would be easier to walk up that ramp into the, instead of just aiming that crosswalk to the front door.
You see, I do have one question. When you brought up the sign, I did see another sign on the, I guess, the northwest corner shown on the plan. Have we seen any detail on that?
There is that little sign there,
Is that
yeah.
an existing sign that would
think so.
remain? Is that an existing sign?
It's there, and someone spray painted it, the face of it black. We don't really need it. I'd be glad to remove that.
That's all I
Any more
have.
questions? Thank you very much. Anyone else
Just,
want to?
just real quick, just so that we're all clear, the intent of the regulations are twofold. One is to have a sidewalk along the street, but the other is to make sure pedestrians can get from that sidewalk to your front door.
Oh, okay.
So it's kind of one or the other. If there is a sidewalk on Beachmont, you really only need to just go straight into your building from that sidewalk. If there's not a sidewalk on Beachmont, that's where we would encourage a striping from the corner
To there, okay.
to there, just
Okay.
to make that. You see in a lot of communities, you have sidewalks on the street, but there's no way to get from that sidewalk to the front of your business. And
Right.
that's what we're trying to encourage, is to have a safe route from that sidewalk to your
Okay,
business.
okay.
So,
Okay,
Thank you very much.
all right.
Anybody else have anything to add to that? Great. Well, with that, then, we will close the public participation part of the meeting. Gentlemen, do you want to, any thoughts? Or, I mean, I know that the sidewalk is obviously something that's important. I would really like to see that sign go.
No, me too. The sign is more important to me than the sidewalk.
I think the sign has more visual impact to the
I
township.
agree. I mean, there is sidewalk on the south side.
Right.
And, there is the, I'll say, landing, so to speak, at the corner
Right.
to get folks in. You're not going to be, I don't think, make that, you guys, the engineers on board, but to make that connection from where the sidewalk currently ends, north on Nagel, down to the corner, I don't think you'll be able to make that connection. So, and it doesn't extend on beyond, the shopping center and so forth in terms of sidewalk. This isn't the missing piece. So I would really like to see, if it's one or the other.
The sign.
Mhm.
Right, and I think he would have much more
I think
impact from that
it
as
would
well.
really show better that, the property's being redeveloped and,
No, I agree.
hey, new kid on the block and we're, here to, make improvements to the township.
Yeah, and the striped access to the sidewalk near that tree, I think, is a
Mhm, yeah,
viable
from the
solution.
corner, yeah.
No, I agree.
Okay. But then I think adding the bike racks is a good thing, because I think, they very well may get, some folks that do ride their bikes there. And then the removal of that secondary sign.
Secondary sign on Nagel. I did mark on mine about the access easement, on the north side too, to
Right.
see, is there something in place? But if it's a common owner,
Right.
would it
right.
truly be needed? I'm not too sure.
Do we have to add as a condition now? in
No,
case
I mean,
that second
that's-
property gets sold or vice versa? Or not?
I'm going to assume, and I know what they say about assume, but that there are cross-access easements. He's not parking on their property.
Right.
So he's only accessing, he's accessing it directly into the parking spaces, but accessing nonetheless. So, I have to assume that they've got, because it doesn't have any direct access onto a public right-of-way, so.
Right.
Was somebody ready to make a
Just
motion?
a comment. If the sidewalk is not part of your consideration, at least potentially an easement be made available at some time. The sidewalk is constructed if it can't fit in the right-of-way, because there is a potential it could
Okay.
not fit in the right-of-way.
I think that's good.
That's good. Well, I'll take a stab at making a motion. I'll make a motion to approve case 1-2014 PUD, contingent on the items contained in staff report. And in addition to that, or modification to that, is a sidewalk easement along the south property line adjacent to Beachmont Avenue, the deconstruction of the existing pole-mounted sign, an introduction of a ground-mounted sign to meet staff approval and zoning requirements, the removal of the sign along Nagel at the northeast corner or I'm sorry, northwest corner of the property, and the introduction of a striped access for pedestrians from the corner of Beachmont Avenue and Nagel to the existing sidewalks proposed. I think that was it.
Could we maybe add something about that the sign would be something similar to the Tide sign, or to
Yeah,
include a base of the sign?
the ground mounted sign should use building materials used within the property redevelopment. And that would include a stone base and landscaping around the sign.
Is there a second to that?
I
motion?
second. I second.
Allison, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Goddard?
Yes.
Mr. Canard?
Yes.
Ms. McBride?
Yes. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Go Bills.
Look forward to it.
Well, I have a question, just on the easement. How did that happen?
How did it happen?
How does it happen?
How does it happen? How did it happen? We just put it in there. Paul, can you explain?
So, again, in pending, because we're going off of your site plan, so we don't know exactly how much, the obstacles and how much, there may be enough room within that right of way if at some time the township builds a sidewalk across it. If for some reason there's not enough room within that right of way to build a sidewalk and it has to go on this property for a foot or 2 feet or however much, that Comboni, which it would be Comboni, authorizes the township an easement to do so. So it is something that we'll need to
Yeah, I have to get with them and do that.
get them to do that. But
Right.
it's to authorize us to build a sidewalk at some future point if the township chooses to do that.
And you'll likely also want to extend that so it's a construction easement as well,
Right. Right.
temporary.
Probably be a
as well.
temporary and a permanent easement for that sidewalk. There are long-term plans to carry that sidewalk. I know this isn't the missing link per se, but there are long-term plans to carry the sidewalk further east. And so it would, authorize the township to do that if we need an easement to do that.
Right, I just have to get with the property owner and find out how that, if they can do that. I don't know if they have,
I can't imagine.
I can't imagine them not doing it, but we'll work on that.
Okay.
Great, thank you very much.
Yes.
What's your timetable? When do you think you might open?
The plan is August 25th or 26th.
Great.
Yeah.
We got a lot of work to do out there, guys. Go, go, go.
Write that down.
16-hour days. Yeah.
Well, good. Good luck to you. We look
Yeah.
forward to seeing it.
Yes.
John's father, I want to thank you all, but I think you'll be happy with what they want to do here. They've done a tremendous job in Oakley, with the Oakley Public Grill, and this will be the sister to that, and they've been very active community members in Oakley, with major sponsorship of St. Cecilia's Festival and some other things Oakley after ours, and those kinds of things. And they will want to be active participants here with you. I think that you'll be very happy that you have them here. They're very good to work with.
Great.
Good. They're always busy over in Oakley, I know, so.
Yes.
Good. Sure it'll be the same here. So thank you very much. We look forward to having you.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Good night.
I don't think there's anything else on our agenda. You did say we're going to have a meeting next month?
Potentially 2 cases next month, so if you can please mark your calendars now.
August 25th. That's the, Monday before Labor Day, I guess.
Yes,
That's when they're opening, so.
that's right. Seems to get rather soon, but yes.
Okay,
That's it.
good. Anybody got anything else?
Nope.
Motion to adjourn then?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
All in favor?
Aye.
We're adjourned.